what are the steps for giving up my US citizenship? This is a question, and we're not the biggest team in the world, but we help probably 3 or 4 clients each month give up their passports or green card. But having said that, it's not like there's a gross exodus from the US, because we have many more clients enter the US in terms of pre-immigration planning. So, just kind of balances itself out. The steps in giving up your passport are twofold. Same with your green card, right? There's the immigration side and there's the tax side. So in terms of the immigration side, that's relatively straightforward. You can go to the embassy website. I know it's been pretty difficult over the past year to get appointments because embassies across the world have been subject to reduced operations for obvious reasons. I won't say the word why, because then we get censored on some of the platforms that we publish on. So for obvious reasons, embassies have been functioning at reduced operating hours and functionality as well. But I believe that things are slowly but surely returning to normality. So please reach out to the embassy in Singapore online. And you can book an appointment. You go in, you explain. By the time you go in, you need to have a second citizenship. Many people, of course, would have Singapore, but others, Australia, New Zealand, European citizenship, whatever it is your other citizenship is, you go, you declare that to them, and they ask, are you sure? You say yes. And then sometimes they take it from you right then, or they give you a second appointment to come back. Depends on the consular officer that you're dealing with. And the important thing is that once it gets there, the form, the paperwork gets sent to the State Department and comes back to the embassy, you get something called a CLN, a Certificate of Loss of Nationality. And that's backdated to when you first went in. So that's that. The other side, which is perhaps a little bit more complicated, would be the tax side. So in order to properly and comfortably give up your citizenship, you need to make sure that your last 5 years of tax returns are in good order. So you may want to work with a tax professional to make sure that they're okay. And there are no outstanding issues, get them corrected if there are any issues. Then once you give it up, let's say you gave it up sometime in September, then in 2022, when you're doing your 2021 returns, you'll do a dual status return, which will be for January to whatever date in September you gave it up. You will be doing a 1040 as a US person. And then from whatever time in September to the end of the year, you do a 1040 NR, NR being non-resident as a non-US person, so dual status. And you do something called an 8854, which basically tells the IRS, goodbye, I'm gone. And that's it. We do deal with covered expats. You trigger covered expat status, typically in one of 2 ways. If your net assets are in excess of $2 million at the time in which you give up your US citizenship, or if you're a long-term green card holder, like 8 years or more, and you do have more than $2 million in net assets, covered expatriate status can be triggered. Or if your tax liability over the past few years has been in excess of, let's say, $160,000 or so, then you'll be considered a covered expat and you will be subject to an exit tax. You can speak to us if you want to calculate that exit tax and perhaps put some measures in place to try and mitigate or reduce that exit tax liability. So that exit tax is calculated on a mark-to-market basis. You list all your assets on like a balance sheet, and you pretend, so there's a deemed liquidation as at the date of your expatriation. If the asset is appreciated in value, like stock, shares, real estate, whatever, then whatever that delta is between basis and whatever the book value is or market value is as at that time, that'll be subject to an exit tax calculation. So please reach out to us. We can hold your hand and work you through that process.
Please subscribe, like, share, and comment below. Our books and upcoming events are available at htj.tax. Email us at help@htj.tax to engage us, to advise on international tax or business matters.